Hey, this is Pradeep with Sensatura, and today we are looking at the latest launch from Hermès. As of this video, this has not yet been released. In fact, this will be a March 2025 release. I managed to test it and buy it from someone I know even before. This is a flanker called Terre d'Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense. Long name indeed. I remember having this very conversation with a few people at the end of last year, whether Hermès would revisit the Terre d'Hermès line. For a while it seemed like they were done. Yes, they are not actually. Let's take a quick look at the presentation. It's very similar to the rest of the line, which I will show here for reference. Side by side, there is not that many differences. In fact, it took a second for me to realize that it's a new release when my friend showed it to me. On the box, you have the name of the brand, the name of the fragrance, EDP Intense, just some ingredient information at the bottom. On the back, it shows it's refillable. I have a 50 ml size here, by the way. The bottle is almost similar. Of course, it says EDP Intense. The cap is a detachable one, just like Eau Givre. Though this feels heavier, maybe the backlight coating. They don't do the twist style anymore. The Terre bottles have this orange H-shaped base, which is supposed to symbolize touching the red earth, and the glossy shoulder reflecting the sky. The main difference here is instead of orange, it has this rich ambery lava color, which made sense after reading the perfumer's interview in Esquire magazine. I will get into that a bit later. The fragrance itself seems almost colorless as opposed to the yellow shade the rest of them have. Now the original EDT from 2006 is a modern classic at this point. There was the Parfum version, then Eau Très Fraîche, all made by their then-in-house perfumer Jean-Claude Ellena. Then we had Christine Nagel do a couple of EDP flankers, Eau Intense Vetiver and Eau Givre, replacing Eau Très Fraîche, which had to be discontinued because of regulations. She has also made this one. Meanwhile, they launched a new line with H24, which already had two flankers. So naturally, I was expecting an H24 Parfum this year, but instead, they have decided to revisit Terre d'Hermès. I wondered if it's because they felt like they had something new to bring to the table with that signature, or has the H24 line not taken off as much as they would like. Either way, Hermès is one of those houses who actually prefer to not sell a lot. In the end, all that matters is if it smells good. I have been looking forward to this. The Terre d'Hermès line is up there with the Dior line for me as being the best modern men's fragrance line. So how does it actually smell? When I first tested this, it was completely blind. There was no information on the notes and such. Since then, more details have come in. One thing became evident right from the beginning. That is, this is definitely going back to the original scent profile of Terre d'Hermès and taking it in a new direction. Not a totally new signature like Eau Givre. There is an initial blast of freshness from the medley of citruses, grapefruit, orange and bergamot. There's some spicy, peppery facets as well. What was different in the departure was this dark, bitter, ashy, black, borderline charcoal kind of smell. My initial guess was it's probably birch or licorice, maybe some cocoa. All of that is the focus of one of my favorite designer fragrances, Comme des Garçons Black. It still had this aromatic, roasted, clean, smoky quality. Turns out it's a combination of coffee and licorice. It does not smell like actual coffee-focused fragrances like Awake from Acro. More so just the idea. The sweet, dark, slightly medicinal, molasses-like aspects of the licorice are also noticeable. The perfumer had mentioned the inspiration behind this is volcanic earth and lava stone. So it's going for a different terrain as opposed to the red-orange theme of the original in terms of setting. Here, it feels like this coffee-licorice combination has been used to evoke that setting rather than trying to be edible or gourmand. Not sweet either. The dark, ashy, charcoal sort of accord is not too much like in some smoky fragrances where it can go into the campfire, barbecue territory. It's tastefully done as you would expect from Hermès. Even those like Vetiver Tonka, Ambre Narguil and Ambre des Merveilles, where there's notes of honey, caramel and vanilla, are done in this sophisticated, mature fashion. The same here. Even their oud fragrance is not really that intense. In fact, even the overall wearing experience of this fragrance, though it uses these dark notes, is not significantly intense, say in reference to the Vetiver Flanker or the EDT. Hermès is not really known for making super intense fragrances. Even the Parfum version of Terre d'Hermès is not as strong as say Dior Parfum or anything. And I'm totally fine with that, just putting it out there. Behind this coffee, licorice and spices is the familiar territory of the collection. The earthy, dry woodiness of the cedar and vetiver comes through. It's recognizably Terre d'Hermès, which is why I said it feels like going back. This coffee, licorice, which is also a root, with vetiver combination is something that's been tackled in the likes of Dior's Vetiver, which is their discontinued privé, Frédéric Malle's Vetiver Extraordinaire, and recently in Vetiver Parfum from Guerlain. Here they have done it in their own Terre d'Hermès signature. The licorice complements the earthy, rooty, inky aspects of the vetiver, and the coffee adding the bitter, roasted, smoky touch and so forth. It may hint at being tobacco-like, at times even a bit leathery, but doesn't quite fully go there. As these more assertive, darker notes start to calm down, we get into the familiar style of Terre d'Hermès. It is a genuine flanker in that way. This sort of orangey, mineralic, earthy thread of the collection is definitely present here. Not too much of the flinty, metallic aspects. This comes across like there's noticeable warmth to it, along with the earthiness and woodiness. It could be from some amber or labdanum in there. This is the darkest of the collection, probably the most contemporary, because of bringing in new elements to the classic style of the EDT. It also comes across like it has more elements going on in general than the rest of the line. I hope to do a comparison in the future. In summary, the idea of the earthy, woody Terre d'Hermès scent profile being shaded by these darker, enigmatic elements and cloaked in black is the overall actual wearing experience. I can't comment much on the performance and such at the moment. I've only worn it a couple of times till now, but so far, like I mentioned, it is more moderate. I'm fine with it being not so overwhelmingly intense. The pricing is not known at the moment. I have found the pricing of Hermès to be more acceptable than say Chanel or Dior nowadays, even at retail. I would assume it will be somewhere between the EDT and the Parfum. So far, so good. It is a firm like for me at the moment. Enjoyed wearing it quite a bit. I was a little concerned after Barenia with Hermès using trendy components like Akigala wood, but thankfully this stays true to the line for the most part. I think this may potentially end up being divisive. Some fans of the original, like myself, will end up liking it. Some others may think it is a bit trendy or taking away from the theme. Sweet scent lovers probably won't like it. The wider public may be divided too, I think. Let's wait and see. In any case, kudos to Hermès for sticking to their own path and being consistent, which is why they happen to be my preferred designer fragrance brand in the world at the moment. The collection is too strong and solid to pick a standout favorite. I keep going back and forth. I love the original EDT. Last couple of years, I've been enjoying the Parfum version over it. So I need to spend some more time with this to see if the like turns to a strong like or a love, and where I would position it in the collection. For now, I'm intrigued. Going to continue wearing this in the coming weeks for an eventual full review. Either way, that's been my thoughts on the newest Terre d'Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense. Thanks for watching, take care, and ciao.